Okay, you can cut out the start.
All right, let's start now.
Hi everyone, welcome to Nollywood Film Club.
Why are you shy all of a sudden? Up your voice.
Hi everyone, welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I am Mrs. C of Iroka Critic, and today we shall be discussing a YouTube film for a change. It this one got weirdly heated on weird little points. But I can guarantee you've not seen anything like it. Tonight on Nollywood Film Club, we are discussing Love Note. No, stop laughing. Stop laughing. You're bad vibes. Anywho, hi everyone. Welcome to Nollywood Film Club. We discuss Nollywood movies and conversations every Sunday at 6 p.m. What? And today we shall be discussing Love Notes. Can I have a round of applause, please? I tried. All right, let's go.
What are we going to be doing? How are we going to be structuring this?
What's your own now? Anywho, so we shall be doing, we shall start with the good, and then we shall move on to the bad, and then we shall have pushback section where if you want to fight over love notes, please carry on, and then we shall have our summaries, and we shall go about our merry way and enjoy the rest of Sunday evening. So, Oyinkan, you were first. What did you like about love notes?
First of all, I want to thank everybody for the great welcome, and also I want to add, um, it was with me while I was doing my nails for myself, and you know when you're doing your nails by yourself, it takes much longer than going to the nail salon. So I I thank you for that. Um, I guess I thank you for touching on many kind of difficult topics. You know that it aroused many questions in me. There are many beautiful actresses in it, and I would say they did do well with their performances. And it is a story that I will remember, and I think it also had a lot of like Nigerian tropes in it, worked in new ways. I think so. It is an interesting movie, and I liked it for that.
Okay, thanks, Oyinkan. Short and sweet. Otas, what did you like about love notes?
Unfortunately, I don't feel like lying today, so I'm going to pass.
Okay, shorter and less sweet. Vanessa, over to you. What did you like about Love
You
Note?
know what? You people are rude and badly behaved in this film club. I genuinely thought like we'd have a list because I wrote a list. I'd watched it when it first came out. I watched it today again, and I was like, I'm gonna give this my best shot. In fact, I had lost my NFC jot pad, my NFC notepad, and I can't find it. I don't know where I dropped it. So I had to go and look for paper somewhere and write this thing. I have a list. It's not short and it's not sweet. Okay, it's kind of short, but it's not. It's nice, guys. I'm better than all these other people. Okay,
Excuse me, I gave a
Uza,
list too.
ain't lying to me. I would. Uza, Maka, and Beverly. They have great chemistry as friends in this film. In fact, it is my belief that the storytelling in this film relied heavily on their connection as friends. Najite Dede and Ireti Doyle were also good casting choices for the older versions of Maris and Tammy. Another like I guess flawed women, guys, flawed women. No, because you know what? Scratch the flawed women, flawed characters as a whole, because Nollywood has a tendency to write and create near perfect characters to the point where you're like, Haba, is somebody that good? Even if these women don't have redeeming qualities, they do flawed. And so I do appreciate them. I guess again the power of friendship. It, like them or not, their friendship felt real, felt honest, felt flawed, near codependent. Um, with an immense amount of trust. So I guess good on them, the power of friendship. Oh, also, I really appreciate the fact that they didn't you know how when Nollywood does flashback, they'll flash back to everything, even how they became friends. And so I appreciate that they didn't flash back into how they started their friendship. Even though this film relied largely on on flashbacks as a storytelling technique. I appreciate them not using a flashback for that specific thing. Also, finally, I'm not a lighting expert. However, I did clock that the lighting that they used in the scenes with older Maris and Tammy were very different from how the other scenes in the film were lit. It was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Diffused, very dreamscapey. I mean, it. I did clock pretty early due to the lighting that one person was dead or something or the other. So I guess I kind of like the lighting in those specific films. It aided the storytelling, I guess, and that's it for me, guys.
You did have a list. Well done. Well done. You're
Thank
better than all
you.
these other terrible people. Good job.
Exactly. You get
And
it.
you know what? I see some of your points.
See?
I see some. I see some. I see
I love it. You go on cooking, Vanessa,
some.
in in the comments.
Look, allow it. Allow it. Adawere, you're up next. What did you like about Love Notes?
I like that it was the right level of chaotic. Um, I like that it had kind of like an old Nollywood callback of big consequences for the actions of women. Um, yeah, it felt like a very very important callback to all the Nollywood. Um, I like the aspect of female friendship, as people have said, even though it was a bit um, maybe not toxic but codependent. Um, but I also liked that it was a different trope from as much as I say it's kind of like older Nollywood type of trope. It's different because in this way, in this movie, it more like championed female friendship in a way that probably didn't do it in older. Um,
Is it just me, or has anyone else lost Ada?
We lost Ada.
Oh, sorry, Ada, we've lost you. Uh,
oh, can you
Now
not
we
hear
can
me?
hear you. Now we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I don't know where I stopped, but I was just saying, I like that they showed female friendship, and I like that it wasn't picture perfect. It had nuance and it had cracks, but it was realistic, and yeah, that's what I like.
All right, thanks, Ada. We're still on the theme of female friendships, which yes, I agree with. I agree with that theme. Uchenna, we have you next. What did you like about Love Notes?
All right, what I find, excuse me, what I liked about it is that I just find this whole genre interesting. Like, Love Notes for me fell into an emerging genre on YouTube, which for now, for want of a better title, I'm calling the Omoni Oboli genre, and it features, a certain kind of actor. Usually, the kind of actors who don't typically do YouTube, that are more commonly seen on streaming platforms and in the cinema. A kind of a clean actor as opposed to the average YouTube performer. Very kind of sophisticated settings, um, usually softer lighting, acting that is less uh, bombastic. Actors like Detola Jones, who seem to have this kind of old school Nollywood feeling since she's so Genevieve coded, and actors who have a throwback to that sort of thing. And I just find it interesting because I feel that in general the standards on YouTube are dropping precipitously every day, and I think that this particular subgenre is trying to raise them up and take them in um, a kind of interesting direction. So it's nice to see Diane Russett expanding in that direction. I guess she did it already with that Dear Diane series. So I think this might be the beginning of a new epoch in Nollywood, and I find that pretty interesting.
Was that an expansive way of saying you like the intention?
Yes.
Okay. We're seeing the intention. All right. Me, Me. What should we call you?
Just call me Michael. That'll be
Michael.
great.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Less confusing than calling you me. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
What did
Uh,
you like, Michael, about Love Notes?
the casting was great. The lighting was good, and I think it was a bit more. The acting was quite natural. I did like the aspect where they lied for each other, and they were bad friends together. Let me put it that way. I think apart from that, I kind of struggled a bit with a lot of the story, but we're not there yet. But I enjoyed the aspect of authentic portrayal of friendship and female friendship at that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Short and sweet. And we'll get to the bad. Yeah. Nollywood must change. What did you like about Love Notes?
I what I like about Love Notes, I think I kind of like that this is different from what we do see on YouTube, like only romance, romance, romance. Yeah, I know this has a little of romance in it, but I kind of like that it's not based on with between a man and a woman. It's just like two friends, reminiscing on their past, their friendship, and all that. Um, I kind of like that. That they were trying to do bad bitches. What did we do? Like, we are not perfect. Like we were bad bitches in the past, kind of thing. Yeah, I'll give it for that. I like the wigs and the gowns. Yeah, I like that. I like a few performances like Beverly Uzomaka and Tina Umba. The performance was okay, and they didn't do too much. They were not even doing too much. I want to see more Beverly in more roles and as lead characters. I think she's a good actress and she's beautiful. Um, I kind of like some set decisions, even though this is Lecky who would kind of set the sign, but I kind of like maybe it is the shots I would say I like. The scene where Uzumaka was in the bathtub and they were smoking weed, some mirror shots, some through the door shots kind of thing. So I think they try to, even though almost everything was indoor, but they try to like improvise kind of thing to make it look beautiful. So I'll give it them that. I like that the characterization that we have two friends, female friends smoking weed in this movie. I kind of like that. It's very rare because sometimes you just throw people smoking weed into a movie because you want to use it to move a plot. But yeah, this one is kind of related to the kind of medical struggles the one of the characters had, like she's addicted and kind of thing. So I kind of like that. What else do I like? Yeah, about HIV, yeah, HIV AIDS kind of thing that it kind of educates a bit, even though it shows that the educated people too that can still stigmatize in a way, kind of. Even though I don't look like how that came about in the movie, but I kind of like that they were trying to teach us something, yeah, regarding HIV AIDS. So, what else? Oh, I think that was all I like. Yeah, it's good that I like a lot of things.
Yeah, another person with the list liked a lot of things. I'm with you on that bathtub scene as well. I think I'll go into it a little bit in my good section. T, you're up. What did you like about Love Notes?
Hi everyone. So I want to preface this by saying that I watch a lot of like YouTube. So I watch a lot of atrocious things on YouTube. So like YouTube is just like my guilty pleasure. I just like watching stuff there. So it was nice to see like I guess a story that's very different from what I see on YouTube. I also liked the attempt because I mean I guess I could tell what they were trying to do, especially with like the friendship. So I like that the director like tried to do that. I like the attempt at that. And I think Najite, I think that's her name. This is the second time I'm seeing her in this like with the same characterization. Like I think last time was the black and white movie on Amazon. I can't remember what it's called.
House of
But
Secrets.
yes. So it was like, it's like the same thing where she like she has like memory loss. I don't know, but I did like seeing her again, even though now it seems like they're typecasting her, because I haven't seen her in something else, but I did like seeing her again, and I also like seeing Wretched Oil. But yeah.
All right. Thanks. Hi. Thanks, T. Mr. C, you're up. What did you like?
Okay, all right. Um, so I think some people have already mentioned cast. I thought actually the older versions and the younger versions of the leads made sense in terms of it's actually pretty good casting on that front. I think Uzumaka is Sell Your Kidney Beautiful. Um, I'm talented, but Sell Your Kidney Beautiful. I think I don't. Maybe like T. I should preface mine with I don't watch a lot of YouTube stuff, so bear that in mind with what I'm saying. Um, I think the 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 angle it took in terms of telling stories about two I remember when we did a Sunday affair.
Oh no, you stole this point from my head.
Okay. When we did a Sunday affair, people were hoping that we would have something a little more like this, and I think this might be a better version. I don't know.
No, it's definitely a better version of a Sunday affair.
It's a better attempt. Hey, this is my good. Stay away. All right. Anyway, but I thought there were unusually more nuanced than I expect from Nollywood, to be honest. And honestly, even despite my issues with it, I thought the ending was. I thought there was something a little warm and sweet about the ending. I didn't feel as I felt a lot more than I felt like I deserve to have felt. Let me put that in English. I was surprised by how much I felt. It's not at the end. I'm not saying I felt the Grand Canyon about it, but I just thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, very very beautiful people as well. So that's the things I liked about this film.
All right, thank you, Mr. C. I'm gonna read a couple tweets. Sue says, "I loved the acting from Uzumaka and Beverly. It felt real, and we could actually feel their emotions through their portrayal." And Dewumi said the characterization for the leads, in bracket their unlikability, was very consistent. The acting by the lead actresses was good. I'm gonna follow on with all of that as well. Like, I'm following Mr. C. This is an Uzoamaka Stan account and home. We love Uzoamaka in this home. She is Sell Your Kidney Beautiful, and she is very talented. It was very unfair to put Abdul next to her, but that is for a different section. But I thought she was very talented. I do agree that a lot of this film hinged on the chemistry between Uzumaka and Beverly. I think they did a decent job of showing the chemistry between both of them, because we complain about chemistry a lot. And sometimes we see, these characters playing best friends, and I'm like, you've never met this person before today in your life. But I think they did a decent job of showing a lot of intimacy between both of them, like the bathtub scene, this one with her legs in there and just, comfortable in each other's space. So I thought that was good. I thought that was well done. I yes. So I I agree that regardless of what we think of their characters, I appreciate to an extent bad characters. No, I mean to an extent, because she did still get HIV, so there was some. was some consequence of bad behavior, but I appreciate not having this grand comeuppance for being badly behaved, right? Like, Kenny came back, right? And the other one who was I want to say mostly good, but she did hide infidelity. But like that's not why her man left, right? He left for some other reasons. You get what I mean? It just felt like life happened, right? It just seemed like life happened, and we had these characters that were badly behaved and making bad decisions. But it did seem like, for the most part, a lot of things were just life happened, which I think is fair, because I think they don't tend to let a lot of, in Nollywood, especially historically and all the way down, bad women don't get away with stuff, right? While we'd have the character who cheats, something bad will happen to him, but they will take him back. It's the same thing with this one. She cheated, she caused more HIV, they took her back. Bada bing, bada boom. Don't let another man destroy your happy home. I do support women's rights and women's wrongs. What else? I think there was a couple of things I liked, but yeah, I also thought of this film, Blood Sisters. Blood Sisters, when they say we're not good girls anymore.
We're
We're fugitives now. They don't know what not good girls are. These two women, Tammy and Maris, know what not being good girls means. Especially Maris. No, especially Tammy. Sorry, she will gaslight anybody. Husband, Maris, anyone can get it, and I appreciated that. Also, special mention to Tommy Ojo's beauty. Oh my goodness, such a beautiful girl. Leave those teen movies alone and act, grown adult woman roles, please and thank you. You're gorgeous. You deserve better. All right, and I think that is everything. Let us pivot to the bad. Oyinkan, we're starting with you. What did you not like? You can find me on the HIV thing.
Excuse me. I have one good thing to say. I've forgotten. This is, I'm using, if I'm putting Queer 3 on, this is a very high important movie for lesbian representation in Nigerian movies. I'm just saying.
Ma?
You know?
What did I scream?
Ma?
The girl was calling of them, both of them mothers, and they both raised her. So, and the last scene of the movie was kind of like, I love you. And I'm like, hey, this is, yep. Sorry, this is Queer 3. Yep, you guys are lesbians, and I support it. Well,
not the by erasure, but carry on.
Were you kidding me? It was so obvious. Now, God forgive me. It's not easy to write a movie. It's not easy to write a movie. It's not easy to do all that. And it's, at least they wrote. I didn't write any movie, so God forgive me. Oh, this movie at least made me feel. It made me feel anger, sure, because I don't understand. There is nothing wrong with writing flawed characters. There's something wrong with writing a grown-ass woman character that is so fucking dumb and bad at being like, oh, I don't know. Did this person? I'm so sorry. I know I'm going to be insulting, but I hope they don't take it. But it does feel like maybe, and I know it's not, because it kind of feels like a high. Not because A High is writing it, but the understanding that A High has of like grounded reality, it kind of feels like it in the writing of these characters. Maris, couldn't she just have called her friend? Tell her friend I'm going home. My husband might call you. She didn't even do any of that. She just walked into the house that she knew he left her husband in. And is shocked. She saw the man. And is shocked when the man says, where are you coming from? Again, oh my God. She has this movie expect us to be upset at what is the other one's name? Tammy's husband. At Tammy's husband being like, oh, the mother of the child has HIV. It is possible for the child to get HIV. Yes, we have a lot of the drugs that can prevent that, but there is still a possibility. My friend, my other girl, killed her. abort her child, which she didn't tell her husband though, because the child is going to possibly have sickle cell for the rest of her life. But this man is evil, is bad by the end of the movie for saying that. But your friend, because a child is genetically born, might be genetically born with sickle cell. Therefore, the child should be aborted. Now, this is a big philosophical question. Yes, they accidentally jumped on a big philosophical question, right? But also, I have to say that's pretty close to eugenics in a way. But none of that is the matter. I'm not here to write 335. I'm just going to put out my something there. My thing is just that is such an hypocrisy. That is such an hypocrisy. That it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous on the writer. And it's not ridiculous that the writer put the hypocrisy there because people are hypocrites. But the writer does not even touch the fact that it's an hypocrisy that is there. And just expect us to be nice with this thing. Also, my friend, you are married. You are married. If you want to live your single life, don't ever get married. Then you will be the one to make complete decisions on your own. It is your body, yes. But you are married. When you're pregnant, who do you expect to be there to take care of you? No man is an island. Your decision affects another person. Then don't get married. I don't know why you said yes when he engaged you. I don't know why you said yes. You could have said no. There are consequences to every decision we make in life. You're a grown-ass person. You should know that. Oh, this is girl power. This is ridiculous, stupid girl power. You're just selfish. This movie is just a selfish girl power movie. Oh, please get out of here. The other one too, you get married. You did not tell the husband that you can have the child. Oh, the doctor said I'm okay. And then you're going to have a what's it called? A surrogacy. Okay. But you know that surrogacy is very hard on people. Like being pregnant is not easy. That's why you don't want your friend to originally do it. But it's okay for some random woman who is probably poorer than you to do it and carry the baby for you. Okay. I'm not saying they shouldn't be flawed women. They should be flawed women. But at least, bad people who are bad at least know reality of something and they plan for that. And sometimes they know that there can be consequences for it, so they try to hide their what's it called, their nonsense. This characterization just does give me nothing. I cannot even empathize with them. Give me something to empathize with the decisions of the place because they have no necessity to be doing this. They seem to be with a very good men. Very good men. The men also don't even have their own characters, don't have their own something, don't have anything. But if that man had done something bad now, oh gosh, can you believe the man did something bad? What kind of writing is this? At least trick me into liking them.
Okay.
Even if love people without no character, they have no reason to be doing some of the stupid things that they are doing. Absolutely, she's a grown woman and she does not realize that the man giving her flowers and something. Okay, ask. Does he give flowers to everybody? Okay, maybe this is for everybody. You go there, you see the man. Oh, we are smoking with you. Are got to be pregnant. You stupid ass thing. What do you think you're doing? Smoking weed and drinking alcohol.
You're heated. If you
I'm
deep breath.
I'm hit by the characterization. Not just because the movie in itself is telling me to be okay with all this. And I hate that the movie is trying to trick me when it doesn't even do the work to trick me well. I'm like, what is this? You want to come and scam me, but I'm seeing right there that the coin that you say disappears is right behind your back, is right behind your hand. Because you're showing me the back of your hand. You're a fool. Get out of here. Sorry. If you're going to lie to me well. That's one thing I do appreciate. Don't lie to me like I'm a dumb person.
I'm really glad you've been able to get this off your chest. I'm glad we're here for you to get this off your
brought me
chest.
back to this.
My God. You know what? When you were giving all your preludes about, I haven't written something and at least they wrote something, I was like, I think it's about to be a little bit spicy. I didn't realize exactly how spicy. But all right, thanks for sharing with the class. I made one or two notes for pushback, but yeah, you've kicked off a philosophical question. So, who do we have next? Otas. You skipped the good because you didn't fancy lying. So speak your truth.
Um, I don't see the intent behind this movie. I'm not sure what it was trying to accomplish because right from the title of this movie, it's misleading. I don't know what the love note is. I don't know who loves each other. This movie should have been called Gaslight because that's all this movie did. They gaslighted each other as friends. They gaslighted their husbands. Gaslighted me as a viewer. At some point, I started asking myself, what did I do wrong? Like, why do I? It's it's not just that they were, women doing bad things. It's just that there was no redeeming quality for any of them. And I also think that because of the way the story is being told, where it's going from like future to past, current to I don't know what's happening, it gets very confusing because it doesn't feel like anything is being tied in. I guess at the end, you do sort of start to put it together, but it's just confusing the whole way through till you get to like the end. And even then, it's still not completely clear. Like, I'm still not sure some of the things that happened. And the portrayal of these women, one of them is lying to her husband about fertility. One of them is starting a whole business. Husband doesn't know, which is neither here nor there. Has an abortion, husband doesn't know. Agrees to surrogate, husband doesn't know. Then goes out and cheats. Like, it was all too much. Like, there was not a point where I felt like even their friendships were redeeming enough for me to continue to be invested in these characters. So it made it a very hard watch for me. I had a hard time following this movie through to the end. And I think if it wasn't for Film Club, this would have been a YouTube movie that I probably ended 30 minutes in. I still wish I had ended it 30 minutes in. It just doesn't get much better or much clearer or any more cohesive. I don't know what I'm supposed to be rooting for, who I'm supposed to be rooting for. I'm sure it's the love story between the two women, which becomes obvious that is the prevailing theme at the end. But I don't even think they're good friends for each other. It just feels like they created a lot of unhealthy codependencies and we call it a friendship. At some point after this girl cheats on her husband, her friend fires the guy as a client. Why? Like, what did he do exactly? And then they make it seem like he took advantage of her and then he takes advantage of other female founders. But that is not established at all anywhere in the movie, other than the fact that she mentioned it. It just was very, very confusing for me. I think the whole movie. And I also don't think that this movie does a good job of portraying people who aren't punished, because these women are punished abundantly. One has an abortion, and so now she cannot give birth, even though we know that is like statistically stupid. The other one has a one night stand, now has HIV. It was just a lot of. I know we're saying, oh yeah, they don't punish them, but it's literally punishment the whole movie. The whole movie is their punishment, unfortunately. I just didn't understand it. I didn't like it. Irati Doyle was good, I guess, but the whole movie itself just felt annoying. Um, I don't know that there was a lot of writing that went into this movie. It just doesn't feel cohesive at all. It doesn't feel like the same movie many times. It doesn't feel like it knows what it's trying to say. It doesn't feel like it knows what it's doing. The actors were okay and sure, not as overdramatic as the usual YouTube actors, but as a story, it's a really bad story.
Okay, thank you. And look at you sneaking a couple goods in there. It's usually the other way around. Sneak some bads into the good section. But yeah, I did roll my eyes a little hard at the I had an abortion and now I'm infertile. I'm like, not in big 2024, please. Let's be for real. Um, Vanessa, talk a little.
Wow, so much vim, guys. So
Yeah,
much,
I
I'm
also
so
want to say
maybe.
that it was ridiculous that she kept pretending that her husband being concerned about a child having HIV was literally the worst thing in the world. Like, I don't understand how any of these women are educated, unfortunately.
I'm so sorry. The amount of vim here, yeah. And maybe this comes from, I don't know, maybe it was my hormones, my period started today. Maybe I have bigger fish to fry. Maybe maybe that's why. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I have like a nitpicky bad. I, why were there divisions into chapters? I don't think it was necessary for the storytelling of this film. I get it. Maybe it was fun to have chapter one, chapter two, chapter three because apparently they are love notes. But guys, it did nothing to serve the storytelling of this film, except somebody has something contrary to show to me how it aids the storytelling. Two, I'm not a sound expert, but there was a particular scene I wanted to bust. I wanted to fight. Well, maybe it was they did their best, but it was the scene on the balcony quite early into the film when Maris thought she was no what's the face Tammy thought she was pregnant and she went up to the balcony to smoke weed and then Maris comes to meet her and they're playing this loud ass music in it but they're trying to cover up some weird repetitive bam 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 boom 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 bam 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 sound. I'm sure it's Lagos sounds on the outside in you and maybe there's like construction work going on around where they are and they're on the balcony and the sound was just impossible to get out. But like, oh man, even covering up with that loud ass piano, it didn't help. It didn't help. And I was quite upset. Now, on to my less nitpicky bad. You know how I said the power of friendship was doing the the heavy lifting in this film? I'm just yeah, that's because the dialogue in this film is no bueno, guys. I know we've had conversations about how call and response Nollywood acting is. Now let's have a conversation about how call and response Nollywood writing is. Because if not because Uzo and Beverly are like as talented as they are and they had as much chemistry as they had, we would be weeping. In fact, case in point, Uzo Amaka and Abdul. Abdul, who I consider a very stiff, robotic actor, just not very good in general. Yeah, those scenes made the flaws in the writing, which unfortunately were also done by Abdul. Very painfully obvious, guys. Not to be a dead horse, but yeah, maybe we should have cast somebody else as Ose. We really need to stop making Fetch happen and Fetch being Abdul Tijani. I'm so sorry, God. I know this sounds like I hate him, and I don't. I just unfortunately I just don't think Abdul Tijani is a very good actor or a very good writer either. Oh, okay. Um there's something there is something about writing flawed characters, yeah. It's another thing to overcomplicate the storytelling and just make I don't mind unlikable characters. Again, I didn't hate that they were selfish. It just wasn't rational. Yeah, and again, this comes back to the writing. God, it feels like I'm dumping on Abdul, and I swear, I promise I am not dumping on Abdul. But the writing in this was atrocious, guys. It just the storytelling went higgy haga. And I think a lot could have been taken apart, pared back, removed, just completely burnt to a crisp that would have helped the storytelling in this. And unfortunately, I, I didn't feel anything in this film, guys. I didn't feel sorry. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel anything for anybody. From HIV to infertility to dementia to death and grief, guys, I was detached. I was completely detached from this film and these characters. And honestly, my emotional detachment severely impeded my enjoyment of this film, guys. And yeah, that's it. Sorry, Abdul, I swear I'm not a hater. I just, maybe we can find something else.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right.
This is what all haters say.
You know what's funny? It was only Otas that skipped the good, and Otas was still the nicest person in her batch so far. Because
Hey,
Oyinka
God.
has gone into philosophy and Vanessa has told somebody to quit his day job. Okay.
No, I didn't
Oh
say it
my
like that. No, now. No,
maybe
no,
we
no,
can
no.
find
You people,
somebody
you
else.
Like,
Something else.
no, no. You people are making it seem like I told this man
No,
that he
no.
should
In
quit the
fairness,
entertainment
both you and
industry.
Oyinka have also been very apologetic
that's
about
that's
the
the
bad.
worst.
No,
I
see,
think that's the worst part. Y'all apologize. Don't apologize so
Like,
much.
why you turn to
I
be a
think
baba? Why?
wow.
You turn to try babbling.
Ekene, stop adding salt
That's
and
what
pepper.
I heard.
Stop adding pepper. Ada, please tell us what you did not like before Mr. Z puts a target on somebody's back. Ada, what do you like about Love Nerds, please?
I didn't like some of the casting. I didn't like the old versus younger casting. I felt like, sorry, I don't know the names of these actors, so pardon me. But I felt like the woman with dementia had more likeness to what's that woman's name? Uzumaka, is that her name? So it felt quite confusing. Also, her character or her behavior struck me a stroke. Is that a word? Stroke. Anyway, it felt more similar to hers as well, and Beverly felt more similar to Rusty. So that was quite confusing to me. I didn't really like how they paired the characters up. I feel like just a simple switcheroo would have helped. I also did not particularly actually like her acting. Older Uzumaka's acting. I felt sometimes it felt a bit too forced, like she was trying to convince us of the acting, and I was not convinced. I also spending too much on acting, but I also do not like Uzumaka's husband, his acting. I man, I did not believe a single line he was saying, and I hated the way he was smiling. I don't know why he was smiling like he had a secret he had to tell me. The scene did not require you to be smiling like that. I don't know why he was doing that, but it pissed me off. And I'm not dunking on him. It was just like it's so weird. I just did not. I was not a fan of his acting. Um, moving on from acting. Um, I I did like the friendship angle, right? But as people said, it felt like they were trying too hard to make us believe how close they were as friends. It didn't feel realistic at times. It felt like they were overdoing it sometimes to try to I don't know for shock value or something like that. It felt a bit too much. It didn't feel like you could see yourself in these characters. I missed the part where she said she couldn't have children because of an abortion. So that actually answers one of my questions because it was so confusing to me. Because I also remember one scene where her husband said the doctor said she had a clean bill of health. So that also confused me, by the way. But if you guys are saying she doesn't He lied. Sorry.
She lied to her husband. She couldn't have children before she married him. I missed the part where she said there's abortion that is the reason, but she just couldn't have children before she married him. It's the other girl that had an abortion. But
Oh no, she did have an
No, she
oh,
abortion. She did mention it. It was
I,
on the conversation in the
the
balcony.
movie
Yeah.
was
Oh,
so bad that I missed that.
so
But
she
yeah,
yeah.
she
didn't
lied to her
Hey
husband.
God.
explicitly
She
she
lied.
didn't
She lied to her husband that the doctor said she had a clean bill of that. It wasn't. She lied. She
yeah.
lied.
Okay.
All right. Adakari, just so she didn't explicitly say But when Beverly's character said she was going to do the abortion by herself, she said, we've learned from my case, or from what happened to me, that we need to do this the right way.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, that's cool then. Yeah, and lastly, I just didn't like the ending. Actually, I felt like, I don't need to be spoon-fed and tell, oh, this is how she died, this is how. No, but I felt like, because the whole movie, the primary, I guess, theme of the movie was how strong the friendship was. I felt like the ending kind of like betrayed all this. It kind of swept away one of the characters. Just, oh yeah, she's gone now. And I understand you could say that the whole, I guess, movie was kind of like a remembrance of her, of how strong the friendship is, how strong she still feels about it. But to me, I don't know, it just felt very, very dismissive of the character. So I didn't necessarily like that. And yeah, that's it for me. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Mr. C said I should put 100 for you on that last one. So, also just your mention of the laughing. He kept asking throughout why is he laughing now? Why is he laughing now? What's funny about this? So yeah. Uchenna, you're up next. What did you not like about Love Notes?
All right. The primary thing I didn't like about this movie is the thing that I've not liked about pretty much every movie of this genre that I've seen so far. And that is that they really struggle with the storytelling and how to structure a screenplay. I don't know if they're trying something new. I mean, maybe they don't want to go with the traditional rhythms of a story, and that's commendable to try something new, but I just don't think it's working. The pacing is always very, very off. It takes so long for anything to happen. And even when something happens, you're not really sure it's happening because there's no dramatic weight to anything. There just doesn't seem to be a sense of friction. I think because they're trying to be so sophisticated and trying to avoid the broadness and bombastic quality of traditional Nollywood, they make everything so subtle to the point that nothing really feels like anything. Like, there are things happening, but none of the events are being built into escalating conflicts, and none of the things happening are being engaged with at any weight, with any real intention. Like, things just happen and happen and happen, and nothing really happens. The friends fight, and the very next scene they make up. We don't really contend with that. I mean, I'm watching the movie, and new supposed conflicts are being introduced like 10 minutes to the end of the movie, and of course none of them are going to be dealt with. Things just happen and happen and happen, and everybody's speaking very coolly, with very sophisticated English. There's no real conflict in these movies. They just feel weightless to me. So that's just something I've just seen in all of these movies. It could be a style that they're developing. um, there is merit to that, but it just, you know when I watch them, I feel as if I'm just eating air. I just come away feeling nothing. And then another thing, which is probably a small issue, I know this isn't the kind of story where the time period in which it's happening is a really essential element. So I'm not expecting that in the flashbacks that everybody needs to be dressed like it's the late 90s or whatever. But it is kind of confusing that, in the very first shot of this movie, basically, we see Najite Dede waking up, and her phone rings, and her screensaver is a picture of she and her friends' younger selves that looks as if it was taken this year. I mean, there was no real sense of temporal dislocation. And I'll admit, this is probably my fault. I rarely watch YouTube movies with my full attention. So the first time I watched it, I didn't even really realize that Najite and Ireti Doyle were the older versions of Uzamaka and Beverly. I thought it was just some sort of side story going on. I mean, it's only when I got to the end of the movie that I realized, oh, that was them. I thought it was just a parallel story. And then I had to go back and watch it again. But the fact that, you see, that's another thing about this particular genre. It really strives to be very contemporary. So when you show the flashbacks and they look so contemporary, and then the supposed flash forward or whatever, or later day, it looks like the exact same contemporary setting. I think it's a little bit confusing. Although somebody mentioned that they did try to make some slight differences in the lighting, but it wasn't enough. I was thrown off by it. I guess that's about all.
Okay, thanks, Uchenna. Yeah, I think Mr. C was also being a bit thrown by what time we're existing in at different points. Michael, what did you not like about Love Notes?
Hi. A lot of things actually. I couldn't really differentiate when it was um, past tense and present tense. Present times, I was always having to think. I understand the whole dreamy light thing was used, and it could have just been better. Um, at the end, I started to question: was it like a lesbian relationship, or what was going on? I didn't have a clue what was going on at the end. And the main thing that stood out to me throughout the entire movie was the gaslighting. It was of epic proportion. I've never seen anything like it before, and I don't think it's going to take a while for me to see something like that since. Um, there was no way that they were right in anything they did, but they just gaslighted everyone, even me that was watching the movie, into into thinking that, into feeling pity for them in some way. Um, the Osagai was a terrible actor. Sorry, it was just very, very, very stiff. At some point, because I kind of watched the movie, I couldn't sit through and watch it in one go. I kept thinking that they had changed him at some point. Yeah, I had to just keep making sure that it was the same person. And what else was it? That the sound quality at times wasn't the best, but yeah, those are the main points. It was just the gaslighting was just really, really bad. And in this whole thing, I think I'm still struggling to see a Nigerian movie where the person can just be bad and there not be any negative consequences for it. Because technically, in life, really, yes, that is how it usually is. Um, in Nigerian movies, we always have the thing whereby, oh, they can be bad through the movies, but at the end, they have to pay for it somewhere or the other. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks, Michael. Michael said gaslighting of epic proportions. Although I do think, in her defense, I think she couldn't help it. I think she was gaslighting on reflex.
You're gaslighting me now. You're gaslighting me now.
I'm practicing. I've taken a few tips from this movie. All right. Nollywood must change. What did you not like about Love Note? Nollywood must change. Are you there? Okay. We've lost Nollywood must change.
Sorry,
Uh,
sorry, I'm here.
okay. Welcome back.
Oh,
What is
what I don't like about this movie, um, something I noticed that the sex, most of the scenes where they had sex, the conversation leading to this prior to the conversation prior to the sex, and the suddenness of the sex scenes, it really don't make sense. Beverly's character was discussing with her husband. She was trying to tell him, "Oh, I really wanted your baby," and all that. All of a sudden, they started kissing, having sex. Like seriously, like seriously. I'm like, does this guy, does your brain not control your penis or what? And then the scenes where Zamaka and Lover they have sex, like all of a sudden just threw that in. I was like, okay, why do we really need that? So I have issues with the sex scenes, and I have issues with Abdul's character. That's Uzamaka's husband. No, not the character, the performance actually. I know the character doesn't need much, but the performance was not just there. It's just Steve kind of. It's too stiff for an actor. We don't really have much actors in Nollywood, and I would love him to do better. He's a good-looking guy, and it's like someone who they can use for more roles, kind of thing. So I want him to do better, to improve. Yeah. So I won't condemn him like that. Um, yeah, the main thing about this movie is the writing. I don't know the characterizations for this character. I was like, okay, we can have unlikable characters. We can have unlikable protagonists. Like, really unlikable. I mean, we can have bad characters, like people with bad characters. We are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But when the imperfection continues to go over and over, I was waiting for something to happen to Beverly's character. Like, we should do something right. Just one thing. She did it right in this movie until the end. Like, I didn't see anything she did right. Until she had HIV, and then, you know, it was tiring for me because I was like, would this character do something right? I know they might want us to like fail, they might want to like do the okay, it's this person. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, but the hate was just too much for a protagonist or for a lead character, you know. Do you understand? So the characterization, they don't work on the characterization. You don't just throw someone, your lead character, into being all that bad. Even Uzamaka's character too. Both of them, they were just terrible wives to their husbands, and they were trying to blame it on Beverly's mental health. Like, she has mental issues and all that. Really, does that make her to just have sex with someone? Really, I was just mad. Like, and then the conflicts were too much. Like, almost, I would just say, almost every damn seconds we were having one conflict or the other coming up. And especially the scene where they argued about, oh, you're selfish, you're carrying my baby, all that. I was like, wait, that's not even the main issue at hand. You guys just talk about marriage. Yes, I know she has sex while trying to have your baby, but that's not the main issue at hand. And when they argued about that, all of a sudden, the whole thing ended. So there was not really much test for their friendship. There was no much test for their friendship. Like, I couldn't just wait whether it was that strong because they didn't have conflict for that friendship. Really, they just showed us how they are bad girls bonding on being bad women, kind of thing. And then I understand it's a YouTube movie because I really found it hard to uh you know, just like I was like when I started, okay, are we in the past at some point? Okay, yeah, then I realized that they were younger. Like, okay, they're younger. So I knew that YouTube movie, so I couldn't bother about that, but it's okay. But I just feel like it, it's something I couldn't get past. So, and then um, the way they did with HIV, that feel like old Nollywood. I think they could have just ended with something else. So it just feel, I know I said earlier that I like the way they talked about HIV, but I really just feel like it was not needed. That was just too much. And the editing at a point it felt blurry, kind of. It felt like, I don't know, is it blurry or like sepia kind of thing? It was whitish. Kind of the editing, I have issue with the editing at some point. Yeah, that's what
Oh, okay. Thanks. Nollywood must change. T, you're up. What did you not like about Love Notes?
I think I'm going to start with the switcheroo. I did think Irashidola's character, for some reason, I believed it more that she was Beverly's character rather than Uzamaka. So it was confusing to me that they did that. Number two, honestly, Uzamaka's husband. For some reason, I thought this was his first rodeo. Like, I don't know why I thought, because like truthfully, his acting was really bad, and I thought it was his first rodeo. So I'm very shocked to hear that he's actually been doing this He has done this like multiple times because I was like, this was too bad for it to have been repeated. Number three, I was confused on her husband, on how we're supposed to feel about Beverly's husband. I've forgotten his name because I think when they started with, oh, he wasn't going to allow her to work, it was like, oh, okay, we're supposed to like maybe see him as like a not so supportive husband. And then it went to the conversation about things where it's like, oh, but he's making sense there. Like you're supposed to talk about it, like with us, like with him before you know, decide to be her surrogate and whatever. So I was just like very confused until today. I can like it. I still don't understand that. I still don't believe that he came back after a HIV diagnosis. Like it doesn't make any sense to me that he came back because I was just like I couldn't like again. I didn't know how to feel about his character, so it was very confusing in that sense. And oh yeah, and I think I was talking to someone about the movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the movie when I meet the movie made me think I should get a best friend," and I was like, I didn't feel that way, and I think that's when I realized that I wasn't convinced about their best friendship. I guess it's just because of this kind of things that their best friendship focused on. I wasn't exactly convinced on it because I don't think that's how I want to be with my best friend. But yeah, that's mostly. I think every other person spoke about every other thing. So yeah, that's mostly it.
All right. Thanks, T. It did not inspire you to find a partner in crime, I see. Partner in gaslighting. Eccentric Shalsey. Hi. You missed the good, so if you want to squeeze your good and your bad together, feel free. Hello? You
Shows you.
there?
Don't say we not call you.
Okay.
Shows you not there.
Shows is not here. I see a few hands up. I'm going to assume you three want to do round 2 of your bad. So I'm going to read a couple of tweets first, get to Ekene and myself, and then we will loop back. All right. Cynthia said, not gonna lie, I got bored and confused after 20 minutes and left it. I can understand the confusion. Triple A says it's okay to have selfish girl power movies. Dr. N says, all I need was a why. I agree. The bad girls needed a reason. The husbands needed a reason for their unbelievable tolerance. The title needed to convince me as well. Lighting, acting, set design, and makeup were good. Also very ambitious by YouTube standards. All right, cool. Ambitious by YouTube standards. Ekene, we still. Oh wait, one more tweet from Olana. Please, my own issue is in all. My own issue in all this is that in the beginning of the movie, I haven't even finished reading it yet. I think I know where it's going. Beverly and Badge's characters mentioned they had a son named Jaden. Okay, no. Does anyone know what happened to that child? Because there was no mention of him afterwards. Actually, Olana, I think you might have missed this in the montage at the end. Jaden Japa to Canada.
Yeah.
Because in 2040 something, we still need to be Japa into Canada and Nigeria.
There's always a good reason to leave.
Jaden Jabba to Canada. I thought you were going to ask that he never grew in all those 4 years at Time Jones because Jaden was the same size the whole time. But anywho, Mr. C, what did you not like about Love Nerds?
Okay, Love Notes. I like to say the future was basically that big bed, which is
I like that big bed.
It's just a huge bed. It's like this is the future.
I like that.
You know, I don't dislike it. I just thought that was their effort at going. Okay, this is a different. It just seemed odd. But whatever. It's better than nothing, I guess. But like other people pointed, there wasn't a lot of other things to sort of separate the timelines. So that's not completely bad. And a good actually forgot to say was I think I gave general commendation to the performances, but I have to say, Baj, as much as I don't like to admit it because I don't like his public and sometimes private behavior, but I think he's very good at doing a lot of small things because this character has almost nothing to work with. And somehow he manages to do something with it. He really, really, he really tries. I think him and aim at the at two people who they just figure out a way to do something with their characters. I think probably Baj more than any, fortunately or unfortunately. All right, but okay, so I can pivot that into the male characters in this. Oh my god. Okay, it's like should I say I like male characters dominating in female space. I don't know what the recent Twitter thing is, but the male characters are so poorly written, so badly written, both in terms of being underdeveloped and also just like they don't seem like guys. They don't seem like men. Um, I said this to Mrs. C and she's like, "What do you mean?" I don't know. It's just like I don't I don't feel like any of these people have testosterone inside of them. Someone in the comments has sort of echoed a similar sentiment in that they heard that you heard that somebody did an abortion, aborted your baby, and he kept in it for many, was it years?
Yes, and he didn't turn out to be an axe murderer.
Yeah, I was like, he's definitely planning her murder. This is how for better or worse, this is how wired.
Family annihilator.
I didn't feel there's just nothing believable about any of the guys. It just felt like the guys were just there to do. Again, I think this is something I used to say sometimes. Like, I think it turns out looking like, oh, we don't do female characters, right? It's just sometimes I think we're just writing the focus. If the focus on the guy and female characters by the side, they're not going to develop them. And I think on this side, we find it with the guys. All right, so the guys were weak. Abdul, I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm not gonna say anything more because Vanessa has done enough for Abdul. But I would like to just. I remember quite feeling strong feelings, strong negative feelings, on bordering on hatred for the character. And to be honest, I think some of it is the fact that he is chilling with Uzumaka and he's the one with Uzumaka. Is like, that's not right. I mean, I don't know which Nollywood actor deserves her, but it's definitely not Abdul. It's definitely not Abdul. It's not him. And it didn't make sense for. So I don't know if you're listening to this or any part of you, some of it is my envy. Trust me, definitely. But your bad acting is also part of it. No. Honestly, people have said it. I don't have to say too much more about that. Anyway, so there was that. I don't think the reveal at the end, I don't think it did much for the story. Uchenna was talking about how you didn't realize until the second hand. Um, you know, I don't think it takes too much because most of the story, all the things you're supposed to feel happen in the flashbacks, in the going, huh? No, in the with the Uzumaka and Beverly characters, because like when we're doing flash forward, it's not really all you see. I feel like all the future or the present does is say, oh, by the way, this person. It could have just been an epilogue. It could have just been the writing at the end. Oh, by the way, this one went on to have HIV, and this. Well, actually, we find that in the past, but this one continued living with HIV and dementia or whatever, and then this one died, and this one.
Kenny also died.
Yeah, you could have just written that, and it basically almost has the same effect because again, the reveal didn't do much. For me. But other than that, I think most people have mentioned everything that didn't sit well. But yeah, those were mine. Is that there's a bunch of small plot details here and there, like the lying from Beverly was crazy, crazy. I mean, like have some small conscience for God. There was a time where even if you want to lie this lie, tell your best friend, hey, like,
Oh,
I'm about to lie with your name. This was up. Because I don't, why you just involve your friend in lie, you not even tell them you're going to lie? I don't understand it. And then even from the friend side, I think this is me saying Mrs. C's point. Even from the friend side now, it doesn't even make sense for her to lie, because what you've just heard is they haven't seen your friend.
You haven't seen your friend.
You haven't seen your friend. Why are you lying to protect? Like, she could be missing, she'd be gone. Why are you lying at this point? Just why? Because she could rituals. You have to use her for rituals. You're here saying that she's, oh yeah, she's in my bed. Why are you saying that? You're implicating yourself. Now you're the last time she was seen was you, according to it. It didn't make sense. And also, the only reason why you should really lie about this at this point is that she is. Yeah, you know where she is, or she's like a serial cheater. Oh, my baby's at it again, or something like this, right? It made no sense for her to lie. But there are, I think, a lot of these people's wickedness didn't have a point, and so people have said, well, why? Like, fine, you want to gaslight, gatekeep girl boss, do it right though. Like, this was crazy. Just for, like Mrs. C said, it just felt like it was a compulsion. I she needs to see a therapist, to be honest. Anyway, all right, that's me.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, over to my bad. It's basically the same. I mean, honorable mention to Abdul's acting. Um, and I think honestly, so there was this clip posted earlier today, right, with the script below and them acting that scene in the kitchen with the tea. And I was like, yeah, I can see that what you're seeing is the script. It's every single thing written on the script. It's, oh, what's his name? Ose sighs and pulls Maris towards him. Um, Looking deeply into her eyes, he says, I am sick of having conversations that are not laced. It's like I can see it, right? This is not direction. This is you knowing where the script says comma, where the script says sigh, where you wrote pause, and you've done it. But it takes a director to translate like what the script is saying into human, right? Into actual human behavior. And that was severely lacking in that scene specifically, and in a lot of Abdul's scenes, which next to Uzomaka was really unfortunate. I did not think there was a point to going into the future and coming to the past. I think all their future selves did was set up the past, set up time jumps, um, and just talk. Like, oh, remember when you guys got married and blah blah blah, and your wedding was great. So we go back to the past and we know they've gotten married, right? That's all the future selves did, was set up, this thing has happened, this time jump has happened. And it just felt a little boring. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever the future selves were talking, like, oh my god, we lived, and we go back to the past and you're like stressing about IVF and this thing. I'm like, y'all really lived, man. Anywho, also these characters, the characterizations. I think T mentioned we're not supposed to know how we feel about Kenny, for instance, right? Like, because I did go, yes, this is, there are a few things I'm like, this is a red flag. Why are you overhearing something and holding on to it for years, right? It's giving family annihilator. Why do you not know your wife's about to start business? Why are you so anal about her staying home? But then again, yeah, your wife does gaslight for sport. So, maybe there is a point to all of these things. The the female characters as well. I think the only thing they had was these girls are friends and they will ride or die, and that's about it. Because Beverly's character, again, we don't know why she gaslights for sport. Gaslights everybody. Her man, Maris, herself. We don't know where this sudden desire for business came from. She's so inspired to do business, she offers to do surrogacy and schedules the first appointment for before her big pitch, right? Because yeah, she's gonna do it all at the same time. It's it also feels like somebody who was not human, because again, you're out to dinner with an investor. He says, let's go out for a smoke. And she goes, is it weed? I was stunned. I was muzzed. I was so confused. Because, yes, a lot of people smoke weed. Sure, that's fine. She does not know this man. She does not know this man. This man has just offered to invest in her business. We're in Nigeria. Even if you were not in Nigeria, right? This is a potential investor. The first thing you're asking is not, is it weed? Just in no planet, right? Second, no, or third or fourth, again, just I don't know this character. Because why is she having sex with Bash? No, for real, why? Why? I don't know why. I don't get it. She tells Maris, you left me alone with him. Now you're a beautiful woman. This is not the first man you have been left alone with in your entire life. Did you shag them all? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know this character. I don't know this character. And I cannot believe cannot believe they dashed her AIDS.
See,
right?
women can't work and be loyal at the
At the same time. At the same time, although I did find it really funny when her husband was like, for how much? And then he was like, it was for flowers and chocolates. That was really a banger of a line because man, that was rude. But that was a banger of a line. But yeah, it was. I didn't understand it. And this one is a little more nitpicky, but now I don't have a lot of experience with HIV.
Thank God.
I don't. However, here are a few queries, a few questions. Her husband comes back 3 months later. This one is nitpicky, but her husband comes back 3 months later, and that's when they go do an HIV test. Now, many medics in the house, correct me if I'm wrong, right? They called her about this HIV, do this blood test thing very shortly after her husband left the house, right? So she would have gone to do a test just shortly after that, unless she really waited 3 months to do an HIV test. Then they would put her on PEP, right? The first test is negative. Put her on PEP for 30 days. 30 days, and then she comes back to do the test. Now again, I don't have a lot of experience, but I do consider myself relatively educated. Why are we doing this after 3 months? Why are we finding out she is HIV positive 3 months later? Right? She's pregnant. Right? When her friend rightfully tells her off, and again, I'm going back to T's thing on this friendship is not very inspiring because I don't know. If you have any friends you're close to, right? Yes, sure, support their rights and their wrongs, but you will tell your really close friends, least of all your best friend, girl, you fucked up, right? Are you insane? And which is what she did. Why? She told her off for sleeping with him, then tells her off rightly for putting her unborn baby at risk, right? This is my baby that you're carrying. You're the custodian of my child at this point in time, and you're doing weed and having unprotected sex with strangers. Valid. And she apologizes the next day. And then proceeds to not take an HIV test while being positively pregnant with someone else's child. She's quite a terrible character, I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, all the characterizations really stressed me out. I didn't get it. I didn't get a lot of their motivations. I thought it was I didn't think the other person's husband's worries were valid about the HIV. Sorry to everyone, right? But we heard the doctor say we're gonna start you on medication and baby's gonna be fine. Also, it's big 2024. It's a pill a day. Even if the baby did come out with HIV, it's a pill a day, and probably by age 4, it's gonna be undetectable, right? So I didn't think it was gonna be the worst thing in the world. However, there had been nothing to show Maris's character's deep desire for motherhood, even if it meant single motherhood. Nothing. I didn't understand what that extra motivation for her for wanting a child. Even we don't even see her. She's sitting at the edge of the bed, and they're like, "You should be bonding, right?" And the adulthood, she's calling her mommy or whatever, right? Is that she's calling the other person mommy? I don't see it. She was determined to stay single, right? And then she missed this guy, and then lies about her fertility because, yeah, sure, he's chill. He's like, "I love you, baby or no baby." But her mom comes and requests grandchildren. which she was happy to tell her mom off initially. But now she has a husband. She's like, oh my God, mommy's asking for grandchildren. I better go make some. And now she wants a baby. And our husband's like about to fuck off. And she's like, yeah, I still want to do it. I didn't see it. I don't understand these people's motivations. There's not a lot to them. There's not. And then the whole montage of you lived rich lives. And I'm thinking, Tommy Ojo doesn't look older than 25, right? I'm assuming these women were at the oldest 35 when they had her, right? I'm saying at the oldest. So at 60, one of them's dead and the other one has dementia. That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad for one to be dead and the other one to have dementia and be widowed. She also has HIV at 60. I didn't buy the happy montage. I don't know. I don't know. It was just, yeah. The story was not my favorite. But yeah, those were my bads. When you come back to you, your hands up.
Okay. Now, I get what you're saying. This
Wait,
story, let
bad
me,
or
no,
bad?
it's not pushback, it's not pushback. I get what you're saying. This story is, what's it called? The reason why I said it feels like a high storytelling, because it is, and it happens, this happens, I've come down now. This happens all the time in writing, and it's like, it's understandable. You cannot be, realistic because it's just too much. No, you cannot, never go for that. I don't really think so. But it doesn't take seriously any of the plot points that it picks. This is why it's AI writing. If you've gone to AI will pull many things, copy it and paste and put it together. And sometimes it just doesn't make sense. In reality, you're just like, okay, that doesn't. It's good to have that type of idea, and I get what you're going for, but that doesn't make no sense. They don't deal with any. That's what Regina was saying. None of the drama, none of the plot points that are going to be dramatic, they don't really deal with any of it. They don't really deal with any of it. So the guy listens and hears. So the guy wants to keep it for so many years or whatever because it's totally devoted to the something. But when it is now revealed that he knows that you aborted the child, it doesn't go to anywhere. Or even when the other husband finds out that you lied to him, doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't go anywhere. Let's say I can ignore your time something. You're just trying to do the feeling of like, okay, this is just to introduce the story. All right, it's just to introduce the story. This is supposed to be the future and this is supposed to be the present. Okay, I'll accept it. It's cool, whatever. But every other thing that they do makes no sense. She's a grown woman. They send you flowers and something. She doesn't even think about it. Even the timing of like, you're overthinking. I'm telling you the truth. Everybody else is overthinking. Even the timing of the HIV and something, it's just plot points because the person did not think about the timeline really like that. They did not think about it. They're just eating whatever they want to eat. They're just eating whatever they want to eat. I don't know why all of a sudden it's HIV. It could be, there are many other STDs. Well, okay, you give HIV. All right, cool. Even the business is just business, logistics business. What logistic business? How can you go to an investor and be like, hey, logistic business? What do you want to do? There are specific things you do. You just don't go logistic business. I study biology. That's how they say they have PhD. PhD in what? You have to study something very specific for years. That's what it is in real life. People don't just randomly know shit. This is so surface high level writing, which is like, okay, no problem. But the thing that was so much pissing me off is that it thinks everybody is saying it like it's better than all our YouTube because it's lighter and it talks in in a well-spoken English theme. Is that it? And then you have some soft music. What? It is highly horrible. This is a hef.
Okay. I
This
thought
is
you had calmed down.
I have come down. I'm being honest. I
Okay.
can clearly see that this is a high writing because you didn't do anything with it.
Okay.
That was the truth.
Yeah. I do think it's kind of crazy that the whole point of that logistics business was to set up the cheating. But yeah, Otaz, you're up. Your hands up.
Yeah, I think that I can't remember who says it. The lady who wrote that this movie needs a why, like, is correct. The writer who wrote this movie does not know why they wrote this movie. And because they don't know why they wrote what they wrote, no one in this movie knows why they're doing the things that they're doing. And it is very much characteristic from like the very beginning of this movie to the end of this movie. Because we sought out, in fact, for a long time, when I was watching this movie, about halfway through, I was like, wait, what happened to that girl in the beginning who said she didn't want to get married? Like, I did not realize literally until like an hour in that one of the women that were married was her from the very beginning. Because I was so confused. Like, they set up that whole ridiculous thing where Tanamba has 4 men waiting for her at the house. And then she's like, oh, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to have kids. And then you don't see the relationship happen. Then the next scene you're seeing is these two older women talking about how, oh, remember when I didn't want to get married? Remember when I got married? It was a dream. And at some I wasn't sure if those were like a side story that was happening. So I was very, very confused. And then the turnaround to wanting to have kids when no one is pressuring her, it was just so conflicting from the character that they had barely set up in the beginning. And so it just felt like I was watching many different stories, many different characters, but just really terrible written ones at each point. And when we break down even the cheating further, it's more and more absurd. Because the husband already knew she was going to dinner with the investor and her friend. That was established very early on, and they had a fight about that. So when she comes back and she's like, "Oh, I only went to dinner with Maris," I was very confused. Like, we had already established that you were going to dinner with Maris and the investor. When she's calling Maris, or I don't know who's Maris and who's Tammy, when she's calling the other friend, Sha, and the other friend doesn't even tell her, oh, I have date and I'm not gonna make it. And then she's on this impromptu date with the investor. It's just all very haphazard. When they call her and her friend is missing, there's no worry. She literally just jumps straight to a lie. Yes, she's sleeping at my house. None of it makes sense. They don't ever establish for any reason why these people are doing the things that they're doing, and it just gets confusing, and the confusion just compounds on each other until we get to the end. And it's unfortunate because I don't think this is the best YouTube movie this year. It's probably one of the worst. Like, just because it has the calm characters who are speaking calmly and doing whatever they're doing, there are so many better movies on YouTube. I watch YouTube movies both as a guilty pleasure and whatnot. There are so many better stories. This is not the best of YouTube at all, by any chance.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have a couple dishonorable mentions I just remembered actually. Just when you mentioned that scene, I don't understand what raised the red flag for the husband when she snuck in. Um, he knew she was going out to dinner. She mentioned going out to dinner with Maris, and she spoke to the investor on the phone. You smell of weed. I was at dinner with Maris. You smell of male cologne. Yes, the investor joined us for dinner. Case closed. I don't understand the red flag, but yeah, sure, it
Felt like
happened.
maybe she had cheated before and they just didn't tell us. Like, because
They,
that just felt like what was missing.
Men in female dominated spaces. Men in female
that
dominated
is
spaces. This
exactly
man
what
said,
it felt
I have
because
a woman's
Like,
that's
intuition.
what it felt.
I
That's
You
Period.
guys
exactly
are
just
confused
what
by that.
The man said, I can
I can
smell
smell a
your
female
adultery.
felt
perfume on you.
I can
I can
smell
smell
your
a woman.
adultery.
That's exactly what it was giving. That's exactly what it was giving.
But
Yeah.
can I add that what's his name? Kunle Remy.
Mhm.
Throughout Kunle Remy's performance, he always just looked like somebody wanted to fuck. I just
That is the energy
Period.
from the first time in the
Period.
boardroom.
I'm so sorry.
it just
Actually, best actor nomination for this film. because he only came in for 2 seconds and I knew his intentions. I
Just
saw his intentions and I
always,
appreciated
he
it.
came into the boardroom. He's just like he's going for a wedding. It's like,
Period.
you will know my true
I
intentions right now. And then
I love it. I'm sorry
wait,
for all the nonsense
I'm
cameos
sorry.
and all the
Kunle
nonsense that
Remi,
went on in
in
this
his
film.
wanting to fuck at every point, carried it even into when he was telling her he had
He had
AIDS.
it.
He
I
has
know.
HIV.
I know.
Sounded
I
like
know.
he wanted to fuck. I'm like, hey, this guy, what's going on? Maybe it's a problem. Maybe it's a
Maybe it's a
problem.
They
problem.
no, see, they told him be sexy. He had have sex.
Bring
And
it
he
No,
was
out.
no,
like,
no, no,
got
no,
it.
no, 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 no.
Got it.
They told him be sexy. He had have sex, and he was like, "I'm gonna." You people are just genuinely. No, no, I appreciate an actor that can take direction. What?
Also, just dishonorable mention, Maris's character has never seen a condom in her life. Never.
Because
Never. Never in
how
her life. Because
for someone who doesn't
she
want
doesn't
children,
want
she
an
apparently
extra child.
completely
Unprotected
averse.
sex all day, every day. With a stranger,
I swear,
doesn't even know his genotype. Unprotected sex all day, every
unprotected
day.
sex. She's just completely averse to any kind of birth
Yes,
control.
yes, she is.
Oh,
Also, I
you
just want to
people
mention,
mentioned that we don't, the child, she gets pregnant after the sex. Did people question, hey, whose baby is this?
I think it
that's
was too
what I'm
close.
going to mention too.
I hope.
Huh?
I hope it was too close
Which,
to the pregnancy was too quick to be Kunle Remi's. I hope.
which,
That's what I was going to mention. We don't know. This movie doesn't know
Would-
time. We don't-
See,
imagine that baby just cooler means.
This
and,
movie doesn't know
and now
time.
she has stuck her best friend with child support. The audacity. Nah, she's a bad, bad bloke. All right.
Also, you do realize that one of the things that probably get the guy to know that this woman was cheating, she was sneaking into the house, walking like
Well,
she
it
did
was
Don't
late
something
at
wrong,
want to wake
night.
him
It's a
up
sleeping child.
now.
Like none
and
of
she
this.
didn't want to wake him up. Do you walk like that just because you don't want to wake somebody up? If it's
Some
your house, you're walking something, but you're walking quietly. You don't go ting, he.
you have to look guilty if you've done bad things. See, all right. Do we have any pushback? I'm opening the pushback section. I'm opening the pushback section. Does anyone have any pushback? I have one pushback, Sha, to Yinko. Just one. I now as badly behaved as Maris, she is Maris, whichever one it is, Tammy. The one with the married badge, Beverly, as badly behaved as Beverly's character was, yeah, I think you mentioned the hypocrisy in the abortion versus refusing to abort the other baby, and I don't think there was a hypocrisy in that
No,
because two different characters making the decisions. So Beverly's character was having an abortion because of the chance of her baby
you're
potentially
missing,
carrying
you're
sickle.
missing what I meant. That I said the film is
Oh, no,
hypocritical.
no, I don't think the film
The
was being
film,
hypocritical
the
about.
film itself,
See, the
the
film is
way
very confused. The film is very confused, but I don't think that was a moment of the film being hypocritical. I think the film is
it's
confusing.
not the characters. You're confusing the characters for the film.
I
What I'm
think
saying
it
is that
would. The film would.
the,
And
the
now,
film
I
wanted
don't. I
us
don't.
as the viewer.
Film. I
Okay,
think the film would be hypocritical if it was the same character, right, making those two separate decisions. Right?
um,
It's Tammy and Maris are two different people with two different sets of values. And even the pregnant one at some point tells her, you know what? Have you tried hearing your husband out? Maybe he has a point. Right? So I don't think
what
of
I
film.
see what you're saying, but that's not what I am saying. There's a difference between what the characters do and what the director or the film itself or the writers of the film itself want the audience to feel. The film presents what's her name? What's the one that actually had abortion first that because our child
That,
might die?
that
Basically,
one,
Her name is Tammy.
Tammy. The film presents Tammy's decision. It presents it to us that we should be in support of that,
Is
right?
the film telling us to be in support of that? I
The
don't know.
the film wants us to be in support of these people.
Because also, don't forget, this
I
story
don't
is
Okay,
think
let
that.
me,
Oh, so,
okay,
the
okay.
story is being told from those two women, right?
Yeah,
So they
the
both
story,
have a bias towards themselves and their own decisions. Bear that in mind. Not me
yeah,
defending.
I know what you're saying, but sometimes the way the directors direct things, the way they present things, the way they present that, even if a film is being told from a character's perspective, the way the film is presented, it will tell you whether you should judge that character for doing it or not.
I'll have to push back
You
on
know,
this,
like,
because I
let me
don't
finish,
think the
let me
film.
finish.
Unfortunately, it's a flaw of the film as well. I don't think the film was telling us to feel any kind of way, because I, at the end of the day, I think what this film did was a lot of just
Yeah,
showing and a lot of telling without any
without taking any
leading
But
stance
us
on
to
the
any.
I,
There was no
I,
leading to any conclusion, in my opinion.
I
I don't think so.
personally believe that the film was supposed to be like, oh, we should be in support of these people. It just didn't do it well. I think
yeah.
I
So,
don't think so.
think that
No,
yeah,
no.
I,
uh,
It's one thing. No,
I
no, no, no. I don't
personally
think so.
feel, I'm not telling
yeah.
everybody else. To think,
I
No,
think
so that's no, but that's how you. But this is the thing. That's how you took the
oh,
film. That's what's the English I'm looking for. What I have foggy brain. I'm on my period. But
This period.
that's how you took the
yes, that's
film.
how I
But
took
that's
it.
not what the film is
I
saying.
think that
That's not what the film is
think that's what
saying.
the
so.
film is saying.
The film we
I think
saw we
that's what
saw
the
the
film is
story.
saying.
We saw the
And
hold on.
also, that's also how you took the film. If that's how I took the film, that's how
No, 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 no,
that's
no, no,
what
no,
the film is saying.
no, no.
Both
Sorry.
of
But
I
us
don't have any
have
strong
guys,
our
opinions.
listen.
Again, I don't have any strong opinions on this, and I'm. This is what I think this
own.
is,
I feel
and
like no one is
this is
asking
it.
Oyinkan
The
why
film
she
was
feels
told through
that
the
way,
eyes
though.
of these two characters.
Okay,
I
hold on.
agree.
I'm
I
going.
agree. But
Otas.
can I finish what
No,
I'm
no,
trying to
no.
say?
I think Otas has raised a valid point. We haven't asked Oyinkan why she feels that way. So Oyinkan, why do you feel that way? Why do you
I
feel?
I feel that the film in itself, not necessarily just okay, the character, the film in itself is presenting that, because many times, not only even the writing, even in the music, even into the something, it presents us to be in support of the people that the story is telling it. It never actually challenges or criticizes the the characters of the story as much. Just because it gave them HIV, it gave them a house. Just because it gave them consequences, there is always an how. There is like an how, or we lived our life or something. Even not even that. In the story, right? It tells us, okay, when she has that abortion, it gives us the reason why she has the abortion. Okay, we're supposed to be okay with the abortion. And I'm not even lying. I look, it's a very
No,
big.
but why do you think you're supposed to be okay with the abortion?
And
Yeah.
we're supposed to be okay because they gave us a good reason, right?
I
And
mean,
even
there's a
the,
reason
finish,
for the
let me
abortion.
finish, let me
But
finish.
let's
Even
see what
the film
that.
presents, they are going to hide, okay, hiding it. The film, like the film criticizes them not telling. It doesn't criticize necessarily her having the abortion because the child might have sickle cell.
Why should it
Um,
criticize?
It does. I'm not saying it should. I'm saying what the film does. You're asking me why I think so. I'm not saying my own opinion.
I
I am
think
my opinion.
okay. I think
Let
I
me
get. I
finish.
think
Oh my, I keep getting interrupting.
one
Okay.
sec.
I'm not saying there's a difference between saying what is your own, I'm saying what it looks to me, what the film is saying. Okay. I'm not saying it should. I'm not saying what I personally think that she should be criticized for having the abortion. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what I think the film is saying. Okay.
Okay. I think
Okay,
I
so I
understand.
think the film says that about it. But when we get to the other guy who has his HIV something, we get one of the protagonists. We get that he is bad for thinking the same thing that the other woman did it, because technically it is the same reason. Um, the reason why Tammy wants to have an abortion, wants to have the abortion of the sickle cell, because their child is going to suffer because from the sickness for the rest of his life, or our life. We don't know. And she doesn't want the child to suffer. So she has an abortion. This is a very big question. It's okay. I don't know the right answer. That's why, but the film is giving us like an understanding of where she's coming from. But when it comes to the other guy, all we get is criticism of him. Not
But
one.
Don't only get criticism of him.
All right. Okay.
Or
All right.
not once. Okay. Yes, you're giving
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay.
You
Okay.
can
Aika's okay. All right. Okay. I
why
think
it's
we
a
get
criticism.
we
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the
we
we
get the
get the
general
gist.
gist.
We get the gist. You know, you feel it's hypocritical. I think this is just people. That's the way you have taken it. Others are saying that there are
They
two
don't feel
different.
like the film is
Yeah,
Saying
safe.
I never said that they cannot feel that. They can.
no.
I'm
I
just
think
explaining mine again.
Yeah,
I
which
don't
is fine, which is fine. This only came back because I was pushing back on you calling the film hypocritical, and in my opinion, I didn't feel like the film was saying anything. It was just different characters making different decisions, and different characters feeling a kind of way about the decisions other people were making, which I think is fine.
yeah, that's fine.
Ada, you have your hand up. What's up?
No, it was just to agree with with you. So I think that's quite redundant right now.
Okay.
So yeah, agree. Retweet, retweet. Also, sorry, just quickly. Probably also redundant by this point, but I think who was it? I think it was Uchenna was saying that he didn't see any callback to the 90s. It's because it's the present. It's not meant to be the 90s. It's meant to be present and then meant to be the future. But I think it's probably understood by now. But yeah, that was all my pushback.
Yeah, the old age is the future, which is
Yeah,
I don't know,
that's the
2050
big bed.
something. It's the big bed. It's the
That's
future big bed. Yeah.
that's how beds are gonna be in the future, guys.
I hope so.
Big bed.
Does that mean we get bigger houses?
But somehow still need to jackass.
Of course, man. I said while watching, I'm like, oh, so optimistic. They think Nigeria is gonna exist in 30 odd years. That's nice. T, you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I did have a pushback. I think it was just more directed towards the HIV conversation, because like listening to that conversation, I think the film in my mind, I think they were attempting to like destigmatize like HIV in that sense. And for me, you read like, oh, it's like okay, I have a part like my partner and I are supposed to have like similar beliefs. So like me as someone that's like understands that there'll probably be nothing wrong with the child, and then my partner is like, no, 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 no. I feel like I would also be like, why would you think that way? So I think that's what they're trying to do. Where it's like, if my partner and I should like be on the same like wavelength in that sense. So like, why would you believe that um this child could probably get HIV when the doctors have said probably not? So I think that's what they were trying to do. I think they were just trying to destigmatize HIV in that sense. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I agree. I think that's probably what the
None of
attempt
the partners are on the same page, so I'm not even sure where they got that from. But okay.
I,
was.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna say they
none of
didn't
the
do that
partners.
well.
Sorry, I just what was it when right
They
before
didn't do they didn't do the
yeah,
HIV explanation thing right. Okay,
yeah,
let's be truthful here. Most human beings on earth are not doctors. They don't know that much about how HIV passes and doesn't. They only know the typical thing of just don't be having sex anyhow. It can pass through blood, and it's not what's it called, infectious, where you can like if you touch somebody and then that's not that infectious. We don't live in the 1980s anymore when this disease was for something. But nobody truly knows more than that. They're not doctors. If you want to explain to tell people, oh, don't be what's it called about HIV, explain to them about the drug thing.
I mean, also,
Never once sat down with her
they
husband.
they did make sure to show right,
That
and for all
they
this film
mentioned
flaws,
it. I
when
was
he
watching
got
that. They
go ahead,
mentioned, oh, you if you what the doctor said particularly is if you do what I say, you will not. The child will not get it.
yeah,
That's it. That's not
yeah,
explaining anything.
we'll put you on medication straight away, and if you do what I say, baby's gonna be fine. They did
That's what we've
so
we've seen
they
the
have
girl.
heard the doctor that baby should be fine. There's
I get
medication.
that. I get that. I get that. But I want, if you're going to make a movie that is to tell people, general
No, but
population,
it's not a
No,
that's
no,
PSA. It's not. This is not a PSA
and
film.
also when he goes, we don't know what if drugs could have
we
on.
don't know what he knows.
It
I'm
just
just going to
goes to
be
that's not true because the reason is
That's not
there.
true.
It's there. We know what effects the drugs have on the baby. It
no.
makes
I'm not
them not
talking
get
about.
that.
I'm saying the character in the something. I'm not talking about. I know about HIV
I
and I know how it passes through, and I
I
know
don't
this is why I
know.
found it all
I'm
ridiculous.
gonna say I don't think so. I see. that
What
character,
I'm trying to say
I
is
want
that
to say
the
about as
character
much
himself,
patience
they
as I
didn't handle that type of confrontation well.
Onyeka, why are you assuming that someone who is having a child by surrogacy is not going to be involved in doctors' conversations? I would think that the first assumption would be that someone who
But
is
they
having a child
showed-
via a surrogate will be privy to doctor conversations. So there is no way on the planet Earth, in a rational way, that he's not aware of the doctor's what is it? The doctor's notes on what is the situation is with their child.
Okay, look here.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
think
saying, in that something, whether yes, you're right, sure. But like for what we see on screen,
You're wrong, and it's okay. Like it's fine.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
look,
Please, I'm not wrong. What we see on screen, I don't know whether it was there or not.
I agree with
I
you.
don't know that. I
I
don't
think
know.
that
I'm not wrong. I don't know whether it was there or not. I don't know what it's privy to.
let me try to shorten your argument. I think what Yinka is saying is perfectly fine because there's no reason we have to disbelieve him. He says a thing, somebody else says the opposite. Who There's no reason to think he's absolutely saying nonsense. So like it's not that you can't. I think you're using your because you know what is right. You're projecting it onto the film. If somebody who is unsure, I think they watch this and they're not sure because they're saying, oh, this guy is saying based on what this guy is saying, oh, he doesn't want to risk his baby getting HIV. That's the point he's making. She's making another point, and he leaves. I don't know who's right. It doesn't. The film is certainly unclear about the
I
message.
think the film has flaws in how it tells things, sure, right?
Yeah.
But the film just has flaws in how it tells things and
Mm.
how it gets through conversations and arguments and all of that. But again, I'm just going to maintain somebody with an average level of education is just going to research that thing. There was too much caveating of I know she's your friend. I know she's your friend. Like the only thing here in conversation was hurting the feelings of the person carrying the pregnancy when that was not what was important. And I kept saying, why is this important? She's like, oh, you want to abandon
But
somebody who risked her life and her marriage just to carry a child for you. And
that's what
again,
feels like clumsy, right?
yeah,
That
that's
feels
clumsy
clumsy
writing because
Like,
are you guys talking of the friendship or the abortion? It's like, oh
see,
my God, her feelings still hurt.
But that's why he left her now. They were in their mind, so sorry. It's again poorly executed, but in their mind, they were setting up the reason why their marriage ended.
Yeah,
Or
because she moved in with her pregnant friend. That was
but this is the thing, they were setting up her value systems and her priority,
yeah, yes,
whatever it is
yes.
that she
But it's
places
so
Tammy as priority over him and their
clumsy
marriage.
because
I don't know.
when did she get so attached to the idea of having a baby? Like obviously because to me this is a personal bias, right? It's because to me I'm like we've come such a long way with HIV, treatment and all of that stuff. It's one medication a day. It's you can reach undetectable. And me mentally I'm like I'm not seeing where this is going to be that much of an impact to this child's life. It does even if he gets it, which I don't think he will. So it didn't seem like that big a deal to me. But it just seemed like when did she get so attached to having a baby? Why is the conversation around whether or not to continue this pregnancy so heavily based on this other person and this other woman and I know she's your friend and it just really felt there was so much clumsy writing.
Okay,
And then
even
what
I
was
just
the
felt like
timeline?
guys so
if we want to be
very
realistic, we have to also be realistic about the drug and about the fact that they live in Africa. If we want to be realistic, we have to be realistic about the drug and about the
They
fact
have
that they
money
live in
though.
Africa.
That doesn't
If
really
they
matter. They
honestly,
have enough money.
if they lived
yeah,
in the first
I
world,
don't think that really matters
yeah, in the first world,
because
there's issues with
treatment
access to
in
drugs.
Africa as well is quite where it is everywhere else, and those are affluent people.
Yeah,
They are
they have
they have
money. Like they're rich enough where
they
they'll be
have
able to get the drug.
They're affluent people, which is okay. But if we're going to be talking realistically, we also have to talk about the access to drugs, and we also have to be talking about
There's access, Onyeka. There's
we
access.
also have to be talking about what's it called? What's it called? What genetics? What is it when you get the fake? Not it's not the fake drug, but it's the other drug. Oh snap! I wrote the entire paper on this and I forgot it. The brand name one and the
generic.
Generic, thank you. I keep on calling it genetics, but generic. The generic one. We have to be talking about how patterns laws are becoming more and more difficult. Meaning that a lot of the thing that helped Africa originally was having a lot of generics, right? But guess what? The World Trade Organization, right? They are trying to push more and more a lot of first world patent laws that will make it more harder for generics to be coming true. A lot of Africans, even for middle class, affluent Africans, the reason why like HIV, even though has gotten as reduced in Africa, even though it's not as much as you think, is because of generics. So generics are being actually attacked more and more. So
That's
just saying, if you
very,
want to bring in the realism of everything, you
that's
also
very
have to consider all those things too. But
You
I
don't have to
never,
consider any of those things in the
I
movie.
don't
Like
care
none of
about
those are
that.
relevant.
I just think that the story was poorly written. And I do think that everything that they try to touch on, they do
but we
touch all
all
of it, good, but
agree
it's horrible.
it was poorly
Oh,
written. That's
like
not
for the like that's
And
what my all of I'm
it's a very tough topic that
ma'am. I
sometimes we
think
so
I
simple. It's not
people
actually
and
that.
can mute everybody because we're talking over each other.
what was
Okay.
the timeline for when she found out that she had HIV? That's what I was trying to understand. When he called her, do you know how many days, weeks that was?
It sounds like days because we then do it 3 months later after that.
Because I was wondering why she just didn't get prep. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Which
But
I
confused.
asked about the timeline as well. Why she didn't get PEP? Why she didn't get tested? Then get PEP? Then get tested again 30 days later. But
Okay. All right.
anyway,
Sorry, again, it's not even, I don't have pushback. I just want everybody to know that my bad that you people were saying I was ruthless. Last, everything, the beginning, the alpha and the omega of everything that we've been saying in this film, in this space is proof of my bad section. Because all of you say this is poorly written, this is poorly written. Who is our fault? Okay.
Was it about that?
actually, I have there were two writers in this. It's Abdul and Ogi. So you people
Okay,
not so
fine.
much
Okay,
on
I don't know
Abdul.
who you
Share the
are, but
blame.
okay, you did something, no? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anywho, let's do summaries because this has gotten away with us. I thought we were going to have a quick space today. We breezed through the goods. I got optimistic, and look at us now, almost 2 hours in. Next night, can you tell me I cannot moderate because we have overrun 2 hours? Help me out here. Let's not get past 2 hours. Let's do summaries. Oyinka, what's your summary? Let's go.
My summary is I don't I don't like this movie. But that's me.
Oh my
That's
god,
my own
don't
opinion.
even get
But
this
but
Saturday.
you can ask it,
This
but
one doesn't even get standard on a Friday night.
yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm
Okay.
going to that because I'm not going to decide for you whether you should watch the movie or not, and whether what you take from the movie or not. Because this is hard, it's subjective. You can get what it's subjective. You can get whatever you want to get from it. On a Sunday night, on a Saturday night, you can put this on. Give it 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Within 20 minutes, I knew that I wasn't going to like this because of the stupid mother thing. Um, Give it 20 minutes. If you don't like it, switch. If you like it, continue. That's all I say. There are millions and millions of movies all over this world. Watch it. Don't
Um,
watch it. It is your choice. You decide.
thanks, Oyinka. Otas, you're up. What's your summary?
I did not like this movie. I will make the choice for everybody that they shouldn't watch it. And in general, I am also really tired of seeing Tina Mba playing the same character over and over and over again. It just feels like a waste of her talent because we have Irati Doyle in this movie, who I think they're all around the same age. I don't know. Please don't crucify me as one who's significantly younger. But Irati Doyle has so much more character exploration in her, repertoire. It just feels like such a waste that Tina Mba keeps getting these ridiculous caricature roles. I find it very insulting on her behalf. But that's it.
All right. Thanks, Otas. Vanessa, you're up. what's your summary?
If you believe in the power of codependent friendships, then this is the film for you. Um, if you cannot abide with films that don't have a concept of time, if you cannot stand mediocre and piss poor writing, if story execution is important to you, then don't watch it. But if you believe that the power of friendship can override all these things, then ride on.
All right, thank you. The power of friendship. Ada, what's your summary?
My summary, like I said at the beginning, this feels like a callback to old Nollywood. So if you're into that, yeah, I would definitely recommend it for people. If you want to see somebody getting HIV, because they cheated, abortions, marriages getting scattered, then this is for you. I mean, we are so back. We are so back with old Nollywood. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I didn't actually think it was that bad. I think it was okay. So I think I might recommend it to some people.
All right, thanks, Ada. Uchenna, what's your summary?
Well, this movie did not make much impression on me as an individual movie, but as I said, I find it interesting in terms of what it represents as an emerging new movement in Nollywood YouTube, which is looking forward at the same time looking back. I should mention that this new movement and this new genre is not for me, but you know, someone out there might enjoy it, and I do encourage its development. But I'm going to push back on Recon slightly and say that it's not enough to give this thing 20 minutes because the pacing of these movies is so weird that even within 20 minutes, they haven't even introduced what the movie is actually going to be about. So you might have to give it a little more time.
I don't know. It sounds like a skill issue for the movie and the genre. But yeah, thanks, Uchenna. Oh, we lost Michael. Nollywood must change. What is your summary?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Summary. I think this movie, we had no business reviewing this movie. It could have just stayed on YouTube for people who are meant to enjoy YouTube movies. Kind of movie. So we actually went to go for their trouble. Like, to review this movie. So, yeah, but like, it would have just stayed there and, let people enjoy it for what it was. Like, we not to have thought like something out of it. So for people who love YouTube movies, yeah, you can go ahead to watch it. From people who don't, who know that YouTube movies can be a lot. So I would not recommend. So that's what I think.
Right.
All right, it's my turn. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So despite all my plenty issues with this film, the biggest Abdul touching Uzumaka, to be honest. Um, I don't know. I found this somewhat comfortable a watch, and it didn't annoy me
You started talking
until
about it.
until Abdul started touching Uzumaka at several points. However, I thought if you can look past a lot, in fact, I might have to borrow from Vanessa. You might find this okay, but I don't know. I just didn't dislike, despite all of my issues with it. It doesn't translate to how much I dislike this film. What I dislike was Abdul touching Maka. I hope I've made my points clear at this point.
We understand your
All right.
priorities, Ekene.
Okay,
All right.
but it's not a good film.
No, it's not a good film. Now, my summary is: you see how Ekene was charitable to this film? If it was on Netflix, on the other hand, he would have had more to say. Which is why I stand on my mandate. This is my summary. I stand on my mandate that a lot of our films should be on YouTube and not Netflix and Prime, and definitely not in the cinema. But that's my own bad mouth. In summary, no to reason really don't think about this film. I think you can put this on in the background, especially if you don't want to pay attention. Because I was doing other things when I tried watching it the first time, and I had to take it back because I needed to know what was happening for Film Club. But yeah, it's not a well-written film. It's not. But it's on YouTube. So, anywho, thanks everyone for joining Nollywood Film Club again. I just have to announce that the last few times Ekene has hosted, Elon has closed this space and he has had to reopen it multiple times. However, today that I am hosting, has this space closed? No. Has anyone sent out a second link? No. And as such, vote for me for Nollywood Film Club host. Thanks everyone. Have a good night. Bye bye.
And now says, you tell them what we're doing next week.
Also,
Oh,
next
you tell
time,
on this thing now.
I'm going to
You're
call
out.
not
Sorry. Next week, we're doing something really special. It's very close to my heart. I'm so excited. It's by one of our favorite directors, Obi Emeloye. He's been on this space before and has given you people fire for fire. When we've been discussing Badamasi. And he's the one who named the Kene. And oh my God, we saw Blackmail in cinema. It's beautiful. Oh, we're gonna have a great time next week.
What did you see?
Blackmail. We're seeing Blackmail by Obi Emeloye. It will be on
Oh,
Prime. Starring
oh
Osio
God.
Kujir. We'll
Ah,
have a
Don't
great
not
time.
catch
oh,
me.
I
Don't be
promise
bad.
you.
I will judge you
I
and
promise
back.
it's
you.
not very much like Nollywood, to be honest.
I promise you we'll have a great time.
Okay.
uh,
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.